Hello, everybody. This is Michael Charles from leadingwithintent.com. Uh, Thanks for joining me today. Today is Monday, and I'm excited to be here with you and to uh, share some message with you today. And I know I've been looking forward to being with you. So I hope you having a great week so far and that you enjoyed your weekend. And as I said, as I started this session of I Leave, uh, Mastering the Essentials of Life, Leadership and Relationships with Michael, and my goal in doing that on Monday is to really give you time throughout the week to start applying some of the things that I share with you and giving you an opportunity to perhaps see how you can make your week a little better than last week. So giving you an opportunity to learn something and go out there and share it with the world and seeing what impact it has on your life. And frankly, I'd encourage you to try what I share with you. And if for any reason it doesn't work for you, then tweak it or find something else that works. But the goal is to for you to be intentional about your life and the goals and the things that you want to do and achieve. And so I'm really excited to be here with you. And I want to welcome you and really hope that for sure you getting value, and the value you get if you would maybe reach what you thinking and let me know of anything that perhaps makes sense to you or maybe may not make sense to you, or maybe if you have questions and you need to get anything clarified. And so I just want to make sure that I share things with you that will change how you see life, raise your awareness level to somewhere that it wasn't before, right? To a new level. And I think I said this the last time, getting you to tune in to a new frequency. Because as we say all the time, there's music at all time, anytime, wherever you are. The problem is you just don't have a receiver that can tap into the different frequencies to actually hear and the sound coming through the airwaves. And so the goal here with these I Leave sessions is to help you raise your awareness level so you could tap into some of the energies, so you could tap into some of the things that are available to you, the potential that you have, and make something better out of it. And so today I really want to share some things with you regarding guarding your calendar and protecting your focus. Now, there are a lot of things that comes and really distract us from our goals in life. And the funny thing is, the minute you set a goal, there's always a number of things that come to you to try to distract you from trying to achieve the goal. And so today, my hope is by sharing these tips and strategies with you, you'll be able to guard your calendar and really retain your focus, so that when you are working towards your goal, when you're trying to accomplish something meaningful, so you're not distracted and really just go down the wrong path and then forget that you even had a goal that you were working towards, and only to remember that a couple of years down the road saying, hey, I remember I set a goal a couple of years back but never actually did anything about it, right? Because what's the point in setting goals and actually not taking action towards achieving them? And really, that's where most frustration comes from most people, because they set goals, but then they never do anything. And so they have this pull towards something, but because they don't do anything, then there's this tension, this gap, and this frustration between where they are and where they want to be. And hopefully tonight, what I'm going to share with you is something that will allow you to maybe overcome this gap and remove some of the distractions that you have on your way to achieving your goals. Again, this is all about us being intentional. The word I live really stands for intentional living, right? So, and for you to be able to do that, you need to master some essentials of life, and being able to prioritize and make decisions and really focus to get these things done is key. One of my mentors way back in early 2000 told me once, winners focus, losers pray. And so if you spend your efforts all around, you really not laser focus. Just like the sun. Like if you stand out in the sun right now and outside, bright, let's say 12 noon, for example, you'll feel the sun is hot, but you won't burn you as much. But if you take and try that, I encourage you to go ahead and try to do that, because you'll find that when the sun rays are focused on one spot, it could actually start a fire. It could burn your hand. And so there's power in focus. And so I want to share these things with you tonight and help you perhaps after tonight get a little bit more focused. So there are a few questions that I consider when I'm working on something, or at least when a decision come for me to make. Because again, remember, this is all about guarding your calendar and protecting your focus based on whatever priorities that you've set for your life. And so the first question that I'd like for you to ask yourself when anything comes to you is to ask, is this consistent with my priorities? Now, the very first book I remember reading of John Maxwell is the book, he called it Today Matters, right? And really it's about the daily dozens. It's about decisions that you've made and that you're managing every day, so that you don't have to make those decisions every time. You make the decision once, but you manage to those decisions every day. And one of the things that struck me during that time is the focus on the priority. If you don't have a priority, then anything is fair game. Anything that comes to you is important because you have no priority. And so asking this question based on what you've set as a priority for your life then will help you filter the decisions that you make and the things that may come your way for you to do. The second question that I'd like for you to consider when you're faced with a decision to do something or to take on something is to ask this question: is this within my area of competence? Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong here. I'm all for stretching. I'm all for doing things outside of your comfort zone. But again, if there is a request for you to do something, and if there's somebody else who can do it as well as you can, or better, or maybe up to even 80% as well as you can, then my advice to you is to allow somebody else to do that. Maybe it's going to become a stretch goal for that person. So again, it's one of the lenses through which that you can look at things that are presented to you to say, if this is not within my area of competence, maybe I may not be the best person to do this. Or maybe it's something that you've consciously decided to do. Then you can stretch yourself to do it, but it has to be still a part of your priority, what you've set out to do. So that's what, you have to look at that and make that decision. The third question I'd like for you to ask is, really related to, is this within my area of competence? Can somebody else do it? Can somebody else do it better? So I covered that. I'm not going to mention much about that one. But the other question is, and I have to be careful by saying this because some of you might mistake this for me saying, go ask all of your friends what to do, right? But the question here is, what do my trusted friends say? Remember, the emphasis here is on the word trusted, right? We have a lot of friends, but we trust certain friends with certain things, right? We let certain friends influence us because of who they are, what they do, and maybe the success that they've achieved in some areas of their lives. And so you have to pick who you want your advice from, and then ask the question: can this, has this person achieved something significant or meaningful in this area? And so as that happens, then you maybe can ask them the question. And that's where the word trusted friends come from, because we all have a lot of friends, but not all of them are trusted friends. And so the last question I would want you to consider here before I go into a second thing I want to share with you today as you try to guard your time and protect your focus is to ask yourself, it's a very simple question. Do I have the time to do this? I mean, we will be bombarded with requests. And I heard someone said sometimes last week, I think, that everybody, they're all good friends to you as long as you can serve their purpose, right? As long as they can take advantage of you, perhaps, or maybe as long as they can use you, or as long as you fit into their frame of either their view of you, and that you can fit into that box, right? But again, as you start growing and you start stretching and taking on things that will take you to new levels in life, people will always try to ask you to do things. Now, some of them will be close friends. Now, you're going to have to ask yourself the question, right? Again, priorities, competence, but also service, right? Which is not something I'm talking about today, but service will be a very, very big part of that, of your decision, and adding value to people. So again, this is all based, and I think I said this in the beginning, based on your priorities and the values that you're living by, because those things will determine how you answer these questions. And really, the question is, do I have the time? I mean, you'd be surprised how many people come to me with things, and I have to really evaluate whether I have the time to do it or not. And many of them I say, well, thank you very much, but unfortunately I don't have the time to do this right now because I'm focused on this or that, right? And so we have to learn to start saying no to certain things, as much as we have to learn to how to say yes to things, right? Because when you say yes to something, you're making a commitment. And so you're going to have to start getting laser focused and setting your priorities to avoid clutter and distraction, so you could actually achieve the things that is set before you. And that's why, you've heard it said before, a man chasing two rabbits will catch neither. And so focus is really where the power is. And when you focus, you build momentum. And that essentially is going to multiply your results a lot faster. Now, I'm saying all this it's for you to understand that you will need to be saying no to certain things. As you do this, you will need to say no to certain things. It's sort of like giving up the good to do something great, right? Because most of us are holding on to something that's good in our life, but neglecting something great, right? So we have to neglect the good for something great, and give up the good for something great. And a lot of the times, some good things will come our way to distract us in our pursuit of excellence, in our pursuit of something that's going to significantly change the trajectory of our lives for the better. And so we have to learn to say no. And the problem with most people not being able to focus and not being able to protect their calendars is because they have not learned how to say no, right? Saying no is a part of life. Setting boundaries is a part of life. I've listened to this audiobook regarding setting boundaries, and if any of you are interested in that book, just let me know. Hey Frederick, thanks for watching. I see you on. Sorry, I didn't see your message before. Thanks for watching. And we have to learn to set boundaries. And sometimes setting boundaries will start feeling guilty, because that means we may say no to something that somebody else was expecting of us. And that sometimes will make us feel bad. But we have to remember, we're setting boundaries, and in setting boundaries, people who are just there and do not understand how you that you are setting boundaries to not only help you be more productive, but also add more value to the things and the people that you have in your life. They'll try to start breaking down those boundaries, and you have to keep stay firm and learn to say no to most of the requests that will be coming your way. And so these are the three things that I want to share with you before I finish tonight to really help you to say no gracefully to people, right? You have to learn to say no and not feel guilty about it, and because you have the right to say no. Hey Sally, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking it. Feel free to comment and tell me where you're watching from. But we have to learn to say no. Because again, in our pursuit of greatness, we're going to have to give up the good. And as I said earlier, holding on to the good because that's what we know, that's what we feel comfortable with, will not help us in the pursuit of excellence. And we have to really understand how to say no. And so here are 3 tips for you to be able to say no as you pursue excellence, as you focus, as you protect your calendars, so you don't get distracted. So the first thing is, say no to the proposition, not the person. Now, sometimes some people do not understand the difference. Somebody may come to me and ask me for something. I'm not saying no to them as a person. I'm just saying no to this one thing that they want me to do. Now, some people take things personally, and they may try to shame you into trying to do it. And this is where people need to start learning to respect the boundaries that we've set for ourselves, and that they need to start respecting our yeses and our nos. And again, we really teach people how to treat us by how we behave and react and interact with them. And by setting boundaries and staying true to yourself, and understanding that saying no to people sometimes will hurt their feelings and may make you feel bad, but you have to understand why you're doing it. Because if you don't do, you can't just do everything and still stay on track to achieve the goals that you want in life. It's just impossible. And so you have to learn to say no to some things. And so learn to say no to the proposition, but not the person. Because that's where you will have to be careful saying when you say no to people, because when they get upset with you, you tend to change your answer. But this is where the second part, or the second tip I want to share with you when you're saying no comes into play. And that is to respond in ways that will show that you have the person's best interest at heart. Now, think about it this way. If somebody comes to me and say, Michael, I want you to do this, and I know I don't have the time to do it, I know I can't commit to it, and then I say yes, then what will happen? They'll be disappointed, and what they need will not get done, and then there may be other things that they were depending on this one thing that they wanted done that I couldn't help them do. And so the whole idea here is to help them understand that saying no is not that I'm rejecting you, but I'm not able to do this right now because me saying yes to doing it is probably not going to help you in the end. Now, that's another way to look at it and to do that. Another thing that you could do as you say no is to help them figure out a way to get it done without you being involved, right? Essentially try to defer creatively to help them find alternative solutions to help them get whatever it is that they need done. And so as you go throughout your week and you're trying to stay focused on what it is that you need to achieve, think of these things when a request comes your way. Again, the questions that I covered, which I'll repeat for you very quickly as you try to prioritize your life and the things that you want to do. Hey, Sister Kamala, thanks for watching and thanks for commenting. I'm glad you tuned in as well. All right. So the questions that I shared that for you to help you guard your calendar and protect your focus is: one, is this consistent with my priorities? But that first assumes that you already know what your priorities and your values are. And so that's the first question. The second question is this within my area of competence? Is this something I'm good at? Because if I'm not good at it, what's the point of me doing it unless this is an area where I need to stretch myself to do something and get better. Okay? The third question is, can somebody else do it better? Right? Again, that goes with the second question. And the next question is, what do my trusted friends say? Now, again, I caution you in this question not to become SNIAP, right? Subjected to the negative influence of other people. Because, again, the focus here, the emphasis here is on trusted friends. Trusted friends. All right? So the last question for you to ask is, hey, do I have the time to do this? Because if you don't, you're going to flunk out. You're not going to be able to deliver. And that will make you look bad. That will make you look like somebody who can't keep your word. And that's not good for you either. Because then these people will look at you as well. You said yes to do this, but you didn't. But that's because you did not set proper boundaries. And by doing so, the way to do and set boundaries is by learning to say no. And the three things that I said to say in how you say no gracefully is to say no to the proposition and not the person, right? You're not rejecting the person, but you're just saying no to the proposition, and respond in a way that help the person understand that you have their best interest at heart. Because again, if you can't truly have the time to do what you need to do and help them do it, so what's the point of saying yes that you're going to do it anyway? And the last one is to help them come up with alternative options for doing or getting the same thing done and achieved. And that may be 5-10 minutes of your time, but at least it is helpful. At least it would be helpful to them. And I've done that with some people, and I found that to be very helpful. Thanks, Wifey, for watching. Always a great supporter. I appreciate that. She's actually in the other room watching, so thank you. But yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to share with you today, just to really help you protect your calendar, protect your focus, and stay laser focused on achieving the things that you want in life. And again, if you haven't done this, if you haven't listened to my lesson on achieving success through intention, I called it your Fave 5, Achieving Success Through Intention. Go to my website, leadingwithintent.com. It's right there at the bottom of the screen right now. And sign up for, just click on the button there. There's a button for you to sign up to get some stuff. Sign up from there and you will get access to that link. And if, or I'll send it to you. Or if you want, you can comment from under here and I'll help you find ways to find it. But either way, go out this week, stay laser focused on your goals and what it is that you want to achieve, and use these tips in ways to help you really achieve the things that you want in life. Because again, distraction comes at us from all directions. Unless we learn to protect our space, create boundaries, and help people respect those boundaries, we're never going to achieve the things that we want in life. And so, thank you, Sister Darlene, for watching and for commenting. Feel free to share with others as well. This is the lesson for the day. I hope you got some value out of it for those of you watching, and those of you watching the replay, feel free to comment as well. I'll be responding to them. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and send me your questions. Or if you'd like for me to speak on any specific topic, I'd be more than happy to do that for you, or to share some other lessons. Watch out again. I'll be sharing some other lessons. There's a lesson I haven't done in a long time, and I'm thinking about doing that lesson sometimes next week or the week after. And that is, it's called drama. And hopefully, I'll try to take some time next week or maybe the week after that to share that lesson with you, because today somebody was sharing a story with me and that lesson came to mind, and I'm thinking, oh my, how do you go from, somebody's hip, being feeling pain in their hips to you being homeless? It's just, you just can't see the connection. And so many of us do that on a daily basis. And so I feel that maybe it's time that I share this lesson with you watching. And I'll probably be sharing this lesson in the Facebook group, I Live, Mastering the Essentials of Life, Leadership and Relationships. If you haven't joined me on that group as well, I'd encourage you to head over there to really to join the group and comment and invite others to join the group, because that lesson, drama, is actually it's going to be helpful for a lot of people. So again, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you, my friends, Sister Kamlet, Frederick, Sister Darlene, a few other folks, my wife, always watching and supporting. I hope you got some value from tonight's session of I Live, Mastering the Essentials of Life, Leadership and Relationships. And this is good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Feel free to reach out with questions, comments, or anything that you also may want me to share. So have a good night. Take care.